Well, you're in for a big video now. I am going to show you all the Dolly Parton stuff I picked up in since 2021. One was I had a couple in 2020, but nothing really because that was when I was just listening to her stuff on Spotify to see what's good, what I like, if I should start buying on vinyl. And I bought a ton in 2021. And a lot of it was online. Because that's when we had lockdowns. Oh, it's something outside. When we had all the lockdowns, in and out, a lockdown, and stores were just here. And then when I did go out, there was a couple Dolly stuff, but not really. Or it's the era of Dolly I don't care for much, which is her pop stuff, which is the easiest to find. But I've got a few of those that I did like, so I got those pretty instantly. So strap in, this is going to be some really good stuff. I'll start out with some compilations because they're the most interesting ones. So the first one is Porter and Dolly. This is the best of their duets. I actually like some of the songs, like a handful. And this has got some of them here. It's really, I guess, this is really good. Now, they are cheesy. They are. Even this cover, Dolly looks like she has a tan here. Don't know if it'll show up, but yeah, it looks like she has a tan. Porter, not too bad, but Dolly especially looks like she's got a tan. So I found this one in a dollar bin. I'm getting rid of this one. So this was released in Australia, surprisingly, I think. Yeah. Oh, it looks like NZ New Zealand. So the albums didn't get released, but we got the greatest hits, even though we couldn't listen to the albums. Yay. But this is great. I like it. This is cheap, plays great. I enjoy it. Next up. It's an interesting compilation here. This is when things are starting to get interesting. It's called Country Queens. On the front it says Country Queens, Dolly Parton with Donna Fargo. It has a name, there's a songs, track listing. But the picture it looks like a late 70s or 80s picture. And on the back, it says the same thing, and then it shows a track listing. And if you see the track listing, you come to find this is basically country hits by country queens. And if you're in America, you'll know because the album was released there. It ended up being released here, but this is basically the same track listing. So it's got Dolly's, but the main thing about it, Donna Fargo, I don't really know her, but the Dolly stuff, the main thing about this is her early recordings, very early recordings. We got here Honky Tonk Angels, which is a Kitty Wells cover song. Making Believe, I believe was her song. One or two were hers and the rest were covers. Little Blossom, Release Me, that's a cover. Letter to Heaven, that's Dolly's song for sure. Two Little Orphans, I believe, is her song too. I think it's those two. Letter to Heaven and Two Little Orphans. They're on this. And when you hear it, her voice is high-pitched. You can hear it on Spotify as well, but which are really good. But on vinyl, I find you got that analog sound and it sounds great to my ears. Just sounds more natural to me. Now, this was a New Zealand pressing done by this group called Hughes Ledger Group. But then it's branded Lucky. but I'm not sure what sources they use. I'm not sure about it, but they sound really good, like really good sources. So, and the tapes exist because they got remastered to put on Spotify. So this is an interesting compilation. You can find it, but I find that this one's even more interesting than the original Country Hits by Country Queens, where it has the instruments on it, was because of because of this cover. So people think this is a newer album, but it's actually just this early 60s album, just repackaged. And note, Letter to Heaven, that was actually re-recorded on Joshua. So she ended up re-recording that one. So out of all of these, minus the covers, there's only one that's here that's pretty much official canon in her discography. Because this is more of a compilation than anything. And she wasn't on much of a label, I think, around this time. It was before Monument. So, remember that going in, it's going to be really high-pitched voice, really raw, Dolly. This one is Just the Way I Am. This one got released in Australia, got released in a few other parts around the world. You'll recognize this one. It's a compilation. It's got songs off of Blue Ridge Mountain Boy, Fairest of Them All, and In the Good Old Days When Times Are Bad. Believe that's it. Yeah. And it's got a thing written by Peter Wolf. So we get that's what the weird thing is about the Australian stuff is we get these compilations, but we never got her albums. I know Jolene and Coat of Many Colours got a little release here, but I can never seem to find them. I'm not sure if they were bought much here. They didn't get charged much, but we got these. These are easy to find. I've seen this a few times since buying this for $5 in a cheap dollar bin, in the cheap country western stuff. Here's an American one, which I've seen a few times. It's called Just Because I'm a Woman. I don't know. I'm thinking of a different one Pickwick did. This is I Wish I Felt This Way at Home. This is done by Pickwick, but RCA made this. It's got a few. It's got a couple songs off Just Because I'm a Woman, the album, and then it's also got songs off in the Blue Ridge Mountain Boy. So that's the mix on here. This came out in 75. And it's just those two albums. It's made by Pickwick, which people say is a cheap, crappy company. But this is in really good shape. It plays really nice. Dusty, but I cleaned that off. It sounds pretty good. And it was cheap, so $10. I like these compilations. I like getting weird compilations, so add that in. Here's a couple Australian exclusives and New Zealand. So these might be new to you guys, you Dolly fans, if you haven't seen these around. The first one here, which I think is a really good one, is called A Real Country Dolly. This has got a lot of her country stuff on here. It's got few Porter Wagner duets. It's this is done by RCA. There's a version of this done by RCA as well as Telemark, but they use the same plates, same stampers, minus the label is different. It's one has RCA, the other has Telemark, which is this one, and that's the first reissue. And you can see, get a good view. Oh man, tough to do here. I'll show you how packed the grooves are on this thing. There you go. See how packed they are. They fit a lot of songs on this. But surprisingly, because I was interested in this compilation for a while, found a cheap copy. It actually sounds really good. It's the type of record you got to just crank it up a little bit. Because it sounds great. It does. It's as long as it's a clean copy, which this has a teeny little bit of surface noise, but sounds really good for the amount of grooves they packed on here. Because they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then on the other side, it's 10 as well. So this should have been a 2-disc, but for 10 songs crammed on each side, it actually sounds pretty good. And it's got a few of my favorites here. Of course, it's got some of the songs that's on Just the Way I Am, and the other one, I Wish I Felt This Way at Home, which is total on here. You got songs off Tennessee Mountain Home, a couple Porter duets like Just Between You and Me, and Before I Met You from Just Between You and Me. You got from Joshua, you got The Fire's Still Burning, Chicken Every Sunday. I think Wrong Direction Home's on that album. Or it's on, oh no, it's on Tennessee Mountain Home. Better Part of Life is also Tennessee Mountain Home. A lot of Tennessee Mountain Home. Gypsy Join Me, Blue Ridge Mountain Boy. Wabash Cannonball, that's from a real live Dolly. That's the intro, so that's on here. Tucky Gamblers from Bargain Store. I have that album, but I did buy that, but I'm not counting it in here because that's one I'm selling, so it's not really going to be one of my collection. That's Golden Streets of Glory's on here. Last One to Touch Me from Joshua. So it's a good mix. I find it's a really good mix. If they make this a double album, I think it'd be really good. Just have some of these compilations for Record Store Day. I'm just a sucker for some of these compilations. They're like playlists in a way, and that's why I love Spotify. And here's an Australian one here. It's made by J&B Records, which is an RCA Australia company that they made. It's called Dolly Park and Parton 16 Biggest Hits. Or Biggest Tits. This is the first one I got. This is what got me into Dolly. I knew her songs here and there. Did like them, and of course, she appeared in The Simpsons as well once. But this album, when I listened to it, when I heard some of these songs, not so much side 1, other than Here You Come Again. Side 2, Baby I'm Burning, Jolene, 9 to 5, Great Pretender, that was a cover. But a few of these songs were just went, oh nice, I know these, they're actually really good. And then, of course, I was watching Simpsons that same night. It was on TV that I got this off my mum's dad's collection of records. He had a small box. That episode was on TV, and I went, "Holy shit!" Of course. And then I found a Dolly documentary on Netflix, the Here I Am, that the BBC did. It's a really good one. It's a good documentary. But and I listened to songs on that, and then so this is what got me into it. Now it's not the best sounding record here. It's really not. It doesn't have as many songs packed on it. I think it's a 10 pack. Let me check. Oh, you got 8, and then the other side's 8. So you got a couple less on each side, more room, but. If you're gonna pick one up, I wouldn't recommend this one. It's really a TV order, and it's got a price tag of $5 on here from Brushes. This is before JB Hi-Fi. But yeah, and the big selling point in here is for advertising Real Love, the Kenny Rogers duet. But yeah, I really don't play this one. I don't play this one really. This is more just, I got in it, this is how I got into it. It was free, and this isn't worth anything. Not worth anything at all. At least, so, that's just going to be in my collection as a starting point. And then, got this as soon as it got released. It was the It's called The Very Best of Dolly Parton. On the first time, and that hype sticker. And then here's the track listing, which I don't mind, but it's actually a good track listing for a 2-disc, but I really wish that they did the Essential Dolly Parton. I have the CD of that. Found that for a few dollars, brand new. But they should have done that instead of this one. Because that one, I think, has a lot of good stuff on it as well. This one does have the main hits on it, of course. But I think to me, they should have really done the Essential Dolly Parton. I love that one a little more than this, but Final Rise, I bought this. And it does sound really good. It's digital. Of course, it's digital, but it sounds great. Great. It's a really good digital record. Now, the other reason I bought this was to tell Dolly, hey, put your stuff out on vinyl. That's also why I bought it. It was a double-edged sword. I wanted one of the greatest hits as well as to tell her I want to buy her stuff on vinyl. It's not a gatefold, unfortunately, but it's got really cool innards. You can buy this, so you can easily buy this now. Stuff on each side. Talking about Dolly there. And the label. Let's get a label. This is because this compilation here is from 2007. It's a cheap disc you can get. It's a good starter. But get Essential Dolly Parton if you get a greatest hits on CD. There's her playing guitar, and this has been used on a few different compilations. Past. Oh, there's another one. And the disc is the same, so I won't show you that. Yeah, it's a great sounding disc. Pick this up. I recommend this over the one Walmart did, which is the 16 greatest hits, which is just one disc and it's shoved on that purple vinyl. Yippee. Get this. Might cost a little more, but it's much better sound quality wise. Now this one, I did a video on. Unboxing the sealed copy of Ferris of them all. And I still got the shrink on it. I'm not taking that off because it just shows that even though I've got this video, it also shows it bought it sealed. And it's not going to tighten it. I've cut it in a little direction so it doesn't wreck it at all. And I have listened to it. It's a really good album. It's actually, because I've heard this album before, but when you listen to somebody's songs, it's going to shock you with a few of the songs on it. You got Daddy Come and Get Me on here. Opens it up. Bam! It starts out of the first lyrics is, in this mental institution, and it's a girl stuck in a mental institution that's falsely been put in there. If you used to some of her other stuff, like her later or her love songs, or again, I Will Always Love You and Jolene, if you just 9 to 5, this will shock you. You got Chas, which talks about where she's basically love with her sister's husband, because her sister in this is either got paralysis or just really ill. Possession gets too strong. That's definitely, I think, something of Porter song. Before you make up your mind. Relationship stuff. Doing this for your sake. Which is a girl leaving her baby to orphanage. Just the Way I Am, which is a more cheerful song on here. You get Mummy Down from Dover, which is crazy. Mammy. But it's great album all around. I like this album. Good country stuff here. Interesting writing than some of a few other albums. But this is again with where they have it flipped back, like the Michael Fremer had his disc, and just look at that. I've played this a little bit, and it still sounds great. Because people keep... And there's the cut there from... I'm surprised I didn't get people crying and saying, why am I opening this sealed copy? I'm surprised. So, because yeah, it's really good. It sounds great. Got a vinyl. It's not like, at least doesn't have distortion like Tennessee Mountain Home, which I'll show you a little later. That has a bit of distortion. This one has a little bit of surface noise because of the way RCA pressed their records. This is another one I showed you, and I showed you this unboxing of, which is the Vinyl Me Please Dolly Parton Coat of Many Colors. Again, just pick this up. Pick this up if you can. Vinyl Me Please, I think, still has some left, or find it somewhere. It will cost a little more used in the market. Pick it up. It sounds amazing. I don't know what the music on vinyl one sounds like, but this one, just get it. It's cut. It's done from the master tape, all analog. And some people have different things about Ryan Smith, but he did a killer job on this thing. Killed it on this. That's my opinion on this. Just get it. It sounds amazing. Amazing. I'll still hunt down an original that I had in my collection and I'll give it a listen, but it won't top this. It won't. It's made on good vinyl. It's colored, which I could care less about, and I'll get into that in a sec. It's colored, yeah, but it's quieter than what RCA used in the 70s. Very thin, and it's got surface noise on it, hit and miss quality. This sounds amazing. Great package. It's very heavy, lots of girth on it. Good quality prints. It's got a little booklet inside it, and I'll show you the vinyl here. Which, my only downside to this is, it's not, I don't know if, like on camera, it doesn't look as pronounced as in the pictures did, which is one downside, I think.